Hello, 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 everybody. Let me give a few more minutes for some people to jump on. Um, gotta just wait a few minutes. I don't want a few minutes because this is not going to be a long broadcast. This is going to, be something quick and short and to the point. How is everybody doing tonight? What's going on? How was everybody feeling out there? So I hope you guys have been enjoying, the podcast and the video blog. It's just, I'm still learning. It's still a learning curve. Still trying to get my footing, but I pray that, you guys are getting something out of it and something that will benefit you always. As always, the purpose of the video blog and podcast is always to encourage and empower. So I pray that, you are feeling encouraged and empowered. All right. So tonight's topic, what I just wanted to jump on real quick and, just touch base with everybody about is, I'm seeing for myself a lot of mental illness and depression. We're coming out of COVID-19. We're still in the pandemic, but the numbers they claim are getting fewer and fewer. However, people are dying. And so I entitled this, people are dying from depression, but they're ashamed to tell anyone because they're afraid people are going to gossip about them. And I saw a post like this on Facebook, and it kind of struck me and it kind of bothered me that people feel like that people feel like they can't be honest and they can't get the help that they need or even ask for the help that they need because people are going to judge them. And it's sad for me for people to live in a world where they feel like getting help for having, some kind of mental impairment and, not being able to ask for the help that you need out of shame or fear of judgment. So what that says to me is we have to start reevaluating how we interact and how we operate and the impressions that we give people of us, because nobody should feel like nobody should feel that alone where they can't come to us and anybody and say, you know what, today I'm just having a bad day. Today I just need somebody to talk to. Or maybe something just didn't go right, and I just need to vent. How have we as a society gotten so far away from just simple kindness, courtesy, caring? How much death do we have to see before we realize we need to adjust our posture? And not just as Christian folks, but just as human folks. Like, when did it become wrong to check on your neighbor? When did it become wrong to, encourage somebody? And I just feel like we kind of need to get, you know, back to that, because there is such a need for it, in just a need for it in this time. We all survived 2020. We've all been in this pandemic. And if we're honest with ourselves, we all know that at some point during this pandemic, we needed an outlet. We needed somebody. Why are we finding it so hard to be there for somebody else? Why is that so strange? That should be easy. That should come easy, to us as human beings. And it's just sad and weird to me that um you know there's not as much of that around, um that is needed. And so, and not having people, not having a circle, not having a support system, is hindering so many people, and hindering their healing, and healing their growth, and hindering their growth. And, so for me, I want to do my part and say, I'm here. I don't care how you find me, how you reach out to me. I'm on social media. I'm on a lot of platforms. I'm on YouTube. There's an email address on my website. Um, Reach out. And what has encouraged me to keep going with this is because since I started the vlog, I have been getting inboxes, and I have been getting um, text messages and email messages from people who are encouraged, by my little blurbs, because this is a blurb. Let's be honest here. I'm not doing anything formal. I don't really write out my questions, or I do research to make sure that I am sharing the proper information. But I want this to be as fluid and as authentic as possible. Will there be days where I'm sharing specific information? Absolutely. But there will also be days where I just want to chat. Maybe because somebody out there just needs to chat, or somebody might need a laugh, and maybe I could do that. But in this season, I just feel led to share more of myself and get to know you all, and then we can get to know each other, and then we can laugh, and chuckle together, and be okay with that. Um, so that's it. Just a little blurb, just a little conversation, and to encourage somebody, because, like I said, I saw that post on Facebook, and it concerned me. Like, it bothered me, that people genuinely feel like that. It bothered me that, you know, there's somebody out there, including the person who shared it. Um, there had to be maybe some truth to that. Maybe somebody they know, or maybe even just for themselves, that they feel like, they just don't, they're depressed, and they had nobody to share that experience with. They didn't have anybody to talk to, or they didn't have anybody that would be willing to listen. And that concerns me. So, if for nothing else, I just wanted to hop on here tonight to be encouraging, and maybe to let that person know, um you know uh who you are, who made the post. um and if you genuinely feel like that, just, my inbox is open, my heart is open, my mind is open. I am a shoulder. I'm here to listen. I want to hear you. And I will advise you the best way that I can. Um, or literally just be a shoulder or a listening ear. I can only share with you what I know. I can only share with you what I've experienced. It may not, uh, It may not be packaged perfectly, but I'm human and I'm just making myself available. So that's that. So now let's talk about this thing though. Why is it so taboo for people to say they're having a hard time? Why is it so hard for people to accept that people have low moments? Where did we get to a place in this society where we are kicking people when they're down? Like, oh, so you got issues, so that means I don't got time for that. Like, I'm better than you. No, we all have issues. We all have low moments. Life is messy. It's okay to go through the mess. Literally, there's always a message in it. There's always a lesson in it. God never lets us go through anything without making it clear to us as to why we went through that thing. Either he authorized it, he sanctioned it, but it's always through him, sanctioned by him. You just have to be mindful and pay attention and don't get caught up in just the negative of whatever the experience is or even the positive. Look for the message in it. Take everything to him. I don't care what it is. Nothing is too big, nothing is too small. Prayer does not look a certain way. Let me say that because I've got that question too. Well, I don't know how to pray. It's as simple as the same way I'm talking to you is honestly the same way I'm talking to God. Amen, sis. It never does. God never wastes a battle. He doesn't. Talk to him the same way I'm talking to you. That's the way I talk to God. And my answer to her was just that. Like the same way I'm conversating with you is the same way I'm talking to God. I'm sure there are days when people think I'm talking to myself. I'm not. But my prayer life varies. There are days when I'm just conversating, and there are other days when I'm just stretched out, and I've said this before, wig hanging off, lashes crooked, makeup running, but that's okay too. He wants all of that. He wants all of that. He wants every level, every version of you, all of it. There's no shame in that. You don't have to make it look like anything in particular. Let it look like you. Let it be you. Everything authentically you. Let us get out of the place of my prayer has to look like what I see on TV. My prayer has to look like what I see online. Your prayer is your conversation, your relationship, and how you feel in that moment and how you want to communicate with your Father. It's as simple as that. Like I can't I just can't stress that enough because I didn't like that question. I didn't like the question I didn't like that question was asked of me. I didn't like the fact that this person felt like she was unable to pray, and I can only presume that nobody would answer her question like that. Would answer her question, or the answer that she got, she just didn't understand it. I don't know. However it was, it bothered me that she had to ask me how to pray. That should never be a question. I don't know how to get help from God because I don't know how to pray. Girl, you ain't got to know how to that. It just don't have to look like anything. My other thing, again, back to my original point was to have, when I saw the post and to have someone say, I'm ashamed to tell people that I'm depressed because I don't want to be judged. What? That's foolishness. But again, there are stigmas attached to unhealthy and unnecessary, and sometimes self-imposed stigmas attached to mental illness. And it just shouldn't be. Not every mental illness makes you look crazy. Not every that doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means you're in a space that you just need to work through. That's it. That's it. Their mental health issues do not have a specific look. It doesn't change who you are. It doesn't impede your character. It doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you a bad employee. It doesn't make you a bad mother. It just means that in this moment, maybe in this season, you've hit a crossroad, a rough patch, and you just need to work through that. And you might need a little assistance. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. Don't let anybody make you feel like being depressed or being sad or being in a low place makes you less than, because that is a lie. That is a lie. My favorite saying, a lie from the pit of hell that the devil done told. We all have bad days. I have bad days. I promise you, I could wake up some mornings and just because I just, I'm having a moment, and because I'm human, and because life is not perfect. And so I'm just having a moment. Hell, I could have burnt the eggs and literally just be like, ah, it's all just going bad. One of those mornings where Murphy's Law is just having fun. I burnt the eggs, I broke a cup. The kids didn't want to get dressed on time. My son is not a morning person, so he could have been having a rough day. And as a person, um, those things that I'm going through just kind of weigh me down in that moment. And that's okay. Like, that's okay. Like, just be okay with that. Be okay with having your moments. Be okay. Um, you can't talk to anybody or be ashamed to talk to anybody, to somebody about it, because you never know. The person that you feel like you can't talk to might be the very person that you can talk to. At the very least, I just want to encourage you to be comfortable in having bad moments, because we all do. Or just having a low moment. Don't let anybody make you feel like because you're having a moment, that makes you an anomaly, or there's something wrong with you, because that's not true. We all have them. Some people are just more honest about having those moments, than other people. And I'll say this: social media is social media. I myself, I post things for fun. I also sometimes post things that I think uh, someone might need to hear. But if you see that somebody is consistent in posting a certain type of thing, if you see that somebody is consistently posting things that reference a particular area in life, it costs you nothing to just tap their inbox and be like, you know what, sis, are you okay today? Do you need anything? I'm available to you. That costs you nothing, because there are some people who use the platforms to reach out for help. That's their smoke signal. Like, that's their paper plane. That's their white flag. They're waving it. Maybe they don't have, another place. And even if you just hop on the post and be like, I know that's right, girl. I know that's right, girl. I'm having one of those days. I'm having a few of those days. Um, you know, just that's it. It don't have to be something overly involved or a complicated conversation, but just to maybe throw a few hearts on the post and just be like, because I know that's right. Me too. That might be enough just to let them know that they're not alone. It doesn't have to be, overcomplicated. Um, it doesn't have to be, overly personal. Um, just to know that, what, maybe I'm not the only person going through that. And sometimes people just need to know that they're not the only person going through a thing. Can we come and get away from um how everything is supposed to look? Can we get away from, I don't want people to look at me a certain way, so I'm not going to be honest about my journey? Could we get away from making people feel like their trials and tribulations make them an anomaly, because they don't. We all go through things. And if we could come out a little bit more and share a little bit more, especially as Christian people, I think that we could help a little bit more. People want to know that you've been through some things. We cannot keep walking around here telling people about the goodness of the Lord and how great God is, but we're not giving people any real examples of what He's done for us. We live in a show and tell world. Unfortunately, we have moved into a place to this generation wants to see it. They want proof. They want proof that it can actually be done. They want proof that it's happened. It costs you nothing to just say, this is where God brought me from. You don't even have to get in again to all the details. Just a little blurb. Just a little blurb. That little blurb could be the make or break on whether someone will give their life to Christ. That could be the make or break on maybe you saving somebody's life that day. But a lot of us church folk, I'm gonna say it, church folk have gotten to a place where we make it appear to people as if you have to have it all together before you make it through the door. So a lot of people are under the impression that if I don't look like them, then I can't go in there. And that's a lie. He wants you. You ain't got to, if he wanted you to look like that, most of us wouldn't be in there. We didn't look like that when we walked through the door. We have to be honest with people about what salvation looks like, what deliverance looks like. We have to be honest with them about not everything, but at least what brought us to that place. We sin daily. Period. Yeah, you should be asking for forgiveness and repenting daily, because we sin daily, even the secret sins. Is everybody willing to say that? Absolutely not. Am I? Yes, I am. Why? Because that's just the truth. Because I honestly want people to be saved. I want people to know God, and I want them to know and understand how I got to Him. So if I tell you how I got to Him, and you can see what it did for me, then maybe you'll be willing to take a chance on God for yourself. So yeah, I got problems. Things aren't always right. I'm not just floating through life on water. I ain't Peter. Well, not that version of Peter. I ain't walking on water. Am I blessed? Favored? Absolutely. Absolutely. But is every day a good day? It's not. Is every day a bad day? Nope. They're just my days. And I'm okay with that. I've learned to be okay with that. And I want you to be okay with that. And I want you to know that no matter where you are, what you're going through, He still loves you. He still wants you. There's still a place for you. And He's not going to turn you away. What He does want, however, is for you to choose Him. So you have to choose. You got to make a choice. As with anything in life, you're going to have to choose what you want to do. You most certainly are not going to walk through the doors of the church and the rays of sunshine is going to come down and warm you, and your life is just going to change forever. Now, that's a lie. You have to do the work. There's work involved in that. There's work involved in your healing. There's work involved in your restoration. Now, does He open the door for it? But it is a change, and you have to want to change, and you have to be willing to change. As with money ain't just going to fall down from the sky. It might though. I don't know. Come on, Jesus, hook me up. Because not to say that He ain't capable. Yeah, let's all pray that prayer, honey, because I could use a couple dollars. But there is a work involved in any portion of growing and changing your life. If you want better, you have to be willing to work for the better. Like you got to be willing to work for it. Don't come to God with under the impression that He just gonna make it rain and just like whoosh, and you're gonna be a brand new person. That's not how that's gonna happen. He requires work. And it requires work on your behalf. It requires effort on your behalf, because anything that you really, really, truly, truly want, you're gonna work for. And I'm speaking from experience. I know that I have to work at being better. I know that I have to work at being the best me I can be. That takes work. I'm open with myself and honest with myself that there are things that I know I need to change, bad habits, and I made a conscious choice to take those things to God daily and take it to Him in prayer. I made it a conscious choice. Even in the moment when I know that I've done something wrong, I've even begun the habit of immediately, Father, forgive me. And genuinely. And once you get in the habit of that, of correcting yourself and calling yourself out on it, it becomes easier to walk out of, those bad habits. And along with that is also knowing when I have my weekdays and I know that I need Him more, then I talk to Him more, because I've learned to rely on that. So, get to a place where when you're relying on that, you're relying on Him even in those moments. You cannot put, um, you can't put everything on man. People are, human. We're human, imperfect beings. We born into sin. Okay, because if we weren't, Jesus wouldn't have died on the cross. And so just don't put so much stock into man and what they have to say about you. Don't model who you are based on what the next human is doing. Get in touch with God. And by getting in touch with Him, you're going to get in touch with you. And when you get in touch with you and you finally start to identify those things down on in the recesses, way down deep of you, and you start to pull those things out, not only will healing come, your strength will come. There is courage in healing. It takes courage to say, I want to be better. It takes courage to say, I want to feel better. It takes just to say it, just to acknowledge that you feel bad and I want to feel better. That takes courage. Not everybody is able to do that. I've had moments where I just wasn't even able to utter the words, I feel bad. I would walk around with a smile on my face and a complete mask and be feeling like crap on the inside. Just feeling lonely and broken and just so lost and out of touch. But I felt that feeling of not being comfortable with being honest and vulnerable about my feelings, about the place that I was in. And I made a conscious choice when I decided that I wanted to heal and be better, that I was going to do better and rely more on God and less on humans. Because again, like myself, they're humans, and not without fault or error. And that's just that. No more than the next person. Once you get to that place, you'll find it easier to work through things, because I found that was one of my biggest issues was I relied too much on humans and not enough on God's love, His grace, His wisdom, His mercy. And that's why I was finding myself in a lot of the spaces and places that I was in. And it was as simple as that. So, again, if you see something like that, just comment, just say something. We are losing too many people in this season. Death is coming swift and it's coming fast and it's coming hard. And, a little grace, a little kindness goes a long way. You just never know where a person is and what they need and what you could have done to help them. You just don't know. And it doesn't always have to be some grand gesture. It could literally just be some kind words. That's it. A little bit of kindness. I'm sure at some point in your life, somebody showed you some grace. Return the favor. That's it. It's literally just that simple. We have come away. Gone are the days of the village. Um, I was a child of the village, so there were things that if one of my grandmothers didn't see it, the other one saw it, or the neighbor down the street saw it. Gone are those days where people actually cared, or let me rephrase that: were allowed to care. I get that. I'm just want to encourage everybody. Could we get back to that, where we at least cared a little bit, where we at least cared a lot of bit, about our neighbor and our sisters and brothers, and how they were at least feeling. I think that things will be a little bit different if we got back to that. If we could just bring that one little thing back, because to me it's a big thing. You know, it's a big thing, and I would love to see the world get back to that. And pray for our leaders. Encourage our leaders. They're not exempt from needing encouragement. They're not exempt from needing to know that somebody cares about them. Uh, Reach out. Hey, Pastor, you good? You all right? Thought about you today. I brought you a cup of coffee, something, because that's a heavy weight that they carry. And sometimes they just need that too. They need to be prayed for. They need to be covered. Nobody is exempt from needing encouragement and needing prayer. Uh, don't let a title make you feel a person is above needing something, needing prayer, needing encouragement, needing to feel loved, um, and valued. Don't get to a place to where that's because that's not true. That's not true. Everybody at some point needs something, um, and everybody has survived something. If you lived on this earth long enough, you've been through something. You've survived something, um, and healing is imminent. But you gotta want to. Um, so that was that for my first live. I just wanted to jump on and conversate with you all about that. My original subject for tonight was supposed to be there's favor in my flaws, but I saw that post and it really touched my heart and it bothered me. It bothered me because that wasn't the first time I saw it, and not just from that person, but I've seen a trend of that on social media with people posting things where they really were saying that um, they were in a bad place, or if somebody was in a bad place, and it was a trend. And when I see that, I'll go look on their page, just literally go through their post to see if there's something that was reoccurring. um and I noticed that's what it was. And so common sense to me told me that that person needed a little bit of encouragement. So that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, because I never want anybody to feel like that, because I know what that feels like. And maybe they don't know God, or, so maybe you'll be the turning point. Could we just be the person that we needed? Be the change, please. I know that's like so cliche, but I think we're capable. I think we're capable of one person at a time being the change that this world needs, and not just for the world, not just for the church, but for the world. The church needs to change the world. I think that's the way that should be. We can't preach love and understanding when we're not giving it, and we're not giving it regularly, and to anybody, and without and not doing it, um, or being selective about who we show love and concern for. Can we get away from that? Can we just walk? My sister Ebony talks about this all the time. Um, we have to just walk in love. Just walk in love. It's too much sadness, too much death, too many people going through things, suffering health issues, and things of that nature. And I think it's because I'm seeing it a lot that is bothering me. And And I just want to encourage people to just be mindful of your neighbor, but just be mindful of your sister and brother. Just be mindful of what um of where you were once upon a time and what you might have needed in that situation. You know, we have to be mindful. Here go my sister Tamita, because she coming, y'all, honey. She coming. This her thing. This her thing. Um, you know, we just need to be mindful of one another in this season. Can we just do that? Um, just one person at a time. Can we make that a trend? Can we normalize that? Can we normalize being nice? Um, and the and normalize the positive, please, and just being encouraging to people. Let's make that normal, and not let it be so abnormal, and not let everybody be so. I don't want to say that because, honey, I don't want nobody looking at me like that. Girl, don't nobody care. They don't care as much as you think, and you shouldn't care. You shouldn't care if it's the right thing to do. You shouldn't care what anybody else is going to think. I don't want to talk to her, honey, because you know what they say about her, but what they say about her. Matter of fact, what do you say? Better yet, what did God say about her? That should be your question. Not what nobody else is saying about her, but what did God say? Can we ask that question the next time we go to look at somebody with the side eye and choose not to encourage or help them because of what we heard? Can we do that? I challenge everybody to do that. So the next time you see somebody that needs something, even if it's just encouragement, before the words leave your mouth, well, you know what I heard? Just replace that with, what did God hear? What did he hear about you? And he still loved you. Okay, can we do that? All right. Well, I thank you all for joining me. I'm not going to keep you long. This was not, to keep you long. This was just a, hey, hello, let's chat about something that I saw that I felt like, I just wanted to share with you all. I appreciate you joining me. I appreciate your continued support for the vlog and the podcast. I am overwhelmed. I definitely, God is good. I just never anticipated people actually wanting to hear my mouth. um, if again, if you want to follow the podcast, yes, Mita, that is the truth. That is the truth. You really don't know, you might be the change that they needed, you know, you might do that. And I wish more people thought like that. There's a song, I think Reba McEntire made it first, and then Tyler Perry used it in one of his movies. What if God was one of us? We have to be careful because you don't know. You could be sitting next to an angel on a bus and be rude to them and not even realize it's a test from God. So we have to be mindful this season of how we treat each other, because again, you don't know. What if God was one of us? What if he was sent down? What if he just wanted to see how you, what if it was a test? Child, we all be on our way to hell in a handbasket with gasoline draws on if that was the case. So we have to be mindful, including myself. And that's just being honest, because I can be mean sometimes. It's not always a nice way to be. But again, the biggest hurdle is being honest with myself about those things that I need to change. And getting back to just kindness, and starting there. Just starting with kindness, and starting with me. And that's where I'm going to start. And I hope that you start there too. I hope you guys join me on this journey that I'm on in this season. It's interesting. It's going to be fun. I think we're going to go, we're going to heal. We're going to heal. We're going to get better. We overcoming a lot. 2021. We going from trauma to triumph. It's reaping season, and it's time. It's time for us to be whole. It's time for us to be healed. We're not going to sit in, we're not going to stay in the messy state. We might have to pass through it, but we're not going to stay there. It's time to evolve and become our best selves, and learn how to live whole, and learn how to be healthy, um, so that we could just feel better and be better people, um, for the kingdom. God has put a demand on us, and even me. And so if he put a demand on me, you better know he put one on you. I don't want that kind of smoke from him. So I'm just going to be obedient and do what he said, because I just don't want no problems. Okay. I got enough to answer for. What I'm not going to answer for is not being obedient to God in this. So yes, Tamita, we do. We do. And that's scary. That's scary because we don't know, who we encounter and who we talk to. That person that asks you for $1 on the street, you may be like, I ain't giving him no dollar so he can go buy a drink, but you don't know. You don't know. You have no idea. I'm sure that, and again, this is my experience. So I can only share with you what I've experienced. I'm sure there are people who were not kind to me, and actually I know so. And you know, weren't expecting me to grow into the woman that I am today. And then when I started, doing my nonprofits and my programs, some of those same people ended up needing something from me. And guess what? I didn't judge them. I didn't throw it in their faces. I served them as if I would serve anybody else. And that was one of the biggest lessons God had to teach me. But you just never know who a person could be or who they're destined to be. So you should definitely be mindful of how you treat people, if for no other reason than A, it's the right thing to do. It's the God thing to do. And B, you just never know who you're entertaining. You never know who you're dismissing, who you're criticizing, who you're demeaning, who you're ignoring. You just never know. That person that you see that's saying, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm stressed, I'm going through something, and you blow them off, or you talk about them, girl, she over there stressed out, honey. That nigga done left her. And that's just being honest. Like, that's how people talk. That's just what it is. That's how we talk when we think nobody is looking. But I'm going to say it. Child, he left her, used her, took her, tore up her car. Yeah, but that person needed a little bit of grace. And in this season, you might have been the person to give them that grace, but instead of giving it to him, you talked about him. You laughed at him. You demeaned them for having a hard time. You never know what is written in their book. You don't know what God has planned for them, but you dismissed them. You demeaned them. You thought that, was entertainment, because maybe that person wasn't always a nice person. Who knows? Maybe they went through something. Who knows? But the bottom line is, you didn't love them anyway. And if you think for a second you're not going to answer for that harshness, you will. Because everybody got to start somewhere. The same grace that God extended to you, just be graceful and extend that to somebody else. It's as simple as that. The same way you want somebody to treat you, treat them that way. Remember, at some point, your life wasn't all perfect. So at some point, somebody had to extend you some grace during one of those moments that you had, even if it was a small moment. Just imagine what would have happened if they didn't extend you that grace. Maybe it would have changed the course of your life. Well, maybe you can change the course of somebody's life by extending them a little bit of grace. That's it. That's it. You know, be be honest that, people are human. That's it. It's real simple. This wasn't a complicated message. It wasn't a complicated conversation. It was just a listen. This is what I saw. I'm going to share it with the people. Give you my take on it. I hope you take something from it. I hope you're encouraged. I hope you're empowered. I don't know what God has for me in this season to keep sharing with you all, because quite frankly, I don't know. But I'm just going to keep being obedient, and as He gives it to me, I'm going to give it to you. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. Most of these videos will be on my YouTube channel if you need to or want to rewatch them. My podcast is available on all digital platforms. What She Said is the name of the podcast. The name of the YouTube channel is She Emerged. My website is www.savedhealedenough.com. There's a email address on there if you need to reach out just because you need something. You can. My DMs are always open. We're serious inquiries only. Okay, please don't inbox me no foolishness. I'll get you blocked. But feel free to reach out. You're not alone. Your situation may be unique, but it's not unique. Somebody has been through something. And in this season, I'm really trying to motivate and encourage people to open up and share. Not just me. I'm trying to start a movement here. So hopefully I'm encouraging and motivating people to follow suit, share your stories, share your experiences, encourage somebody. Somebody needs to hear it. Somebody needs to hear from you. You might save somebody's life just by being honest and open about what you've been through and what you've survived. If not, I'll be here. Maybe once a week. I make you no promises. Live is not my thing. I get a little awkward on live. It's weird, but I'm adjusting. I record a video blog at least 3 times a week. And that's what my video blog is for. We're going from trauma to triumph, from healing to wholeness. And I'm just going to share my experiences with you, how I got from point A to point B and how the story is still being written. So I hope you'll join me on my journey. Glad I can share with you all. I'm just glad that God finds a use in me, and I know He found a use in you. I love you all with the love of Christ, and I will catch you guys next week. Next Thursday, I will be live again at 7, but I will be releasing episodes 10, 11, and 12 next week, and that will be it for my first season of What She Said. And then I'm going to take a little break, and then I'll be working on season 2 in preparation of the book, She Emerged, The Manifestation of Me. Just going to share with you guys in the book some highlights, some pivotal moments in my life, and how I truly overcame. And again, I'm glad to be able to help. Look out for, mark your calendars, for my sister, Pastor Ebony Baker Rivera. She will be having her story for Women's History Month on March 13th. So look out for that. That will be virtual. It's a good program. Virtual will be good this year, but I like that live interactive worship. So I can't wait to see what God is going to do. My sister Tamita Brockington's book, Marriage is Not a Fairy Tale, is still on sale. Check her out at tamitabrockington.wixsite.com/website. What else? My first written work, She Emerged, The Manifestation of Me, is coming out on through Back to Eden Publishers in June 2021. If you check out my YouTube channel, don't forget to like and subscribe. And my podcast is now available on all digital platforms, as I said before, and follow me on Spotify. I don't know if you find me interesting. All right. Catch you guys later. Thank you for watching. Love you all.